Welcome and thank you for joining this beautiful practice on lymphatic massage, including a breast massage. I am delighted to be sharing this with you, especially during these times where globally we are in a lockdown period for our health regarding COVID-19. I'm just going to give you a little snippet that if you don't know this about me, by education, I'm a microbiologist and a geneticist, and I actually used to make the flu vaccine and a number of different vaccines. That was my first career that I had. So working with the body and working with what is around us and our environment, when we are aware as a human being and we know how to take care and facilitate our body through all these different phases, we're able to be on the front foot. The beautiful thing about the lymphatic system, which I'm going to talk about, is you understanding how your body works and your immune system works as well. So the way the next 45 minutes or so is going to be structured, I'm going to do a little bit of heady talk about what goes on in all of our bodies, irrespective of gender. And we're going to do a little meditation to drop into our bodies, and then we're going to come into the massage practice. Make sure you've got your water handy. Make sure that you have got your dried brush or a body brush or a glove handy, and an oil that you would like to apply to your body after our practice. Okay. So first and foremost, our lymphatic system are a whole heap of, it's fluid, and it works through our body by actually picking up toxins, bacterial matter, viral matter, and actually running it from the tissues of the body into the fluid of the body, into the bloodstream, which then gets released by the liver or our kidneys. Okay, so it gets processed by the liver and the kidneys, and then gets eliminated through the body, either as our bowel movements or when we urinate. So we are born with a lymphatic system. It is fully functioning for most of us, and taking care of it during a time of stress or chronic illness means that we're able to facilitate the body to take all that debris and matter out and eliminate that more effectively. And the power is in your beautiful hands. So the lymphatic system is vessels as well as the tissues which make it all up. The organs are the thymus, which is basically right here, and I'm going to go into a little bit more fascinating detail about that. The spleen, our lymph nodes, which are in our armpits, they're in the tonsils, they're in the groin, they're in the knees. And these are the parts that we're also going to be massaging today. There is also specialized tissue that make up part of the lymphatic system in our alimentary canal, which is basically our gut, as well as our respiratory tract. So this is all interconnected. And I feel that you can see and sense how important it is that we can actually start moving this fluid through to be able to get our whole body into a state of harmony and equilibrium. Now, with the thymus gland, we're all born with one. Now, up until puberty, our thymus gland is very, very active. It does a great job at setting up our immunosystem. Now, once we reach puberty, and it also gives us all our T lymphocytes. Now, our T lymphocytes are also used to make up our specialized cells, which are part of our white cells that actually pick up the debris of the body and start to eliminate it out of the body. So whenever you've got an infection, your doctor will check your white blood cells And if you've got a really large amount of certain cells, they're able to depict how your body is trying to fight these things off. So, yeah, I'm fascinated by this. I've studied it, I love it, and I'm happy to be sharing it with you. So what happens after puberty, our thymus gland starts to shrink down. And the older we get, it shrinks down more and more. So if we're going to get, if we're going to see the thymus of, say, a 5 or a 6-year-old, it's quite big, it's quite vascular, and it does a job about setting up all the T lymphocytes and setting up the whole body so it doesn't attack it later on in life. In our age, it gets smaller and smaller, or as we get older and older, until if we say look at a 70 or an 80-year-old person, it's actually just fat adipose tissue that sits behind here, and it's relatively small. Now, it doesn't mean it's not functioning. What it means is that this now becomes part of the lymphatic system and the endocrine system. So it's done the job pubescent to actually set up the immunoprofile of your body, and now it sits behind here and acts like a gland trying to get the lymph system, the endocrine system flushing things down and through. And I just think that's spectacular. So what the 4 main functions of our lymphatic system are is that it removes excess tissues from the body, it absorbs the fatty acids into and around the circulatory system, a production of immunocells, which is your lymphocytes, your monocytes, and your plasma cells, and coming into the elimination system. Okay, so that's the heady part of the talk. What I'd like you to do now, please, is just closing down your eyelids and coming into a comfortable position. And what I'd like you to do is just start moving your head and your neck side to side. And just notice if there's any niggles, if there's any tightness. Just wiggle, 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 and let that be nice and still. Take your awareness down into your chest and your upper torso, your shoulders, your arms, and just start wiggling your body around. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Taking a nice deep breath in and exhaling out with a Repeat that a few more times, breathing in through the nose and out with a ah. And I offer the out breath with an ah because it's an opportunity to access our emotional body. And through our breath, we're also able to eliminate any built up pressure, emotionality. Toxins do also get excreted out through our breath. So there's a beautiful opportunity of just deepening deeper into our body and just allowing that sign, that expression to come out. Beautiful. Now, taking your awareness to the lower part of your body and your hips, placing your hands over your knees and just giving yourself a few circles in one direction. The breath in allows you to lift the chest up, and the breath out makes your body come to the back part of the body. So an in-breath into the heart space, an out-breath into the back space. In-breath into the heart space, out-breath into the back space. Beautiful. And now repeating that, but going into the opposite direction. Just bringing ourselves into heart and into body, letting go of all the information that we just shared, and we're allowing that to now be more of an embodied, felt experience, and releasing. And just taking your legs, flapping them up and down a few times. If you want to, you can take your legs forward and just give them a little shake. As you pitter-patter them down onto the floor, you can get a nice massage through the back of the legs and into the knees. Remember, we do have some lymph nodes in the knees, and so what we're doing is actually moving and circulating the fluidity of our body quite naturally. Okay, coming into stillness. And now just feeling your whole body resting after that subtle movement, feeling your breath, just feeling the space between your ears, and all the space that occupies it. Feeling the space between your eyebrows and the vastness of the space between your eyes. Feeling the space between the bridge of your nose and into your heart. And through the breath, the vastness of the space. What you're drawing in is coming from around the whole environment, which is our world, which is our life breath. We're breathing that in our measured dose into our glorious body. There is enough for everybody through the breath and through the life force. And taking that breath, feeling the breath from the upper part of the chest and feeling it down into your lower belly and the space that exists within your body. Feeling that space, possibly through an expanded breath. Your skin moving towards your clothes and back away from your clothes. Filling up the vastness, spaciousness that is also in and around your body. Taking some deeper grounding breaths now. Just feeling yourself, your whole beingness being a part of the environment around you, whether you're on a bed, on a couch, on the floor, in a park, wherever you are. Take in your surroundings and also feel yourself as a being in time and space here and now. And gently opening your eyes. Hello. I'm going to move back slightly so then there is more opportunity to see what I'm doing here. And let me just fix up the video. Okay, beautiful. Okay. So, if you haven't already, just taking off any upper garments, and clearly you can do this without a top on, but I am going to leave my top on purely because this video might actually just go out into some other platforms, and sometimes things are censored, so I want to try and make sure that this reaches as many people as possible without there showing that there is nudity, even though it is educational. So, yeah. So, taking your brush, and what we're going to do first of all is activate the lymph nodes that are underneath the armpits. So by raising your arm, taking the brush, and first of all, we go in a clockwise direction. And what I mean by clockwise is imagine that your body is a clock face. So if you're looking down, this is a 12 o'clock. Towards your left will be a 3 o'clock. Towards the bottom is a 6 o'clock. Towards the right is a 9 o'clock, and back up. So that's the easiest way to identify your body going into a clockwise direction. So with the arm up, doing some circles in a clockwise direction, which means you're starting on the inside of the armpit, out towards the left and back in again. And just use a pressure that is medium, not too strong, but also not too soft. The beautiful thing is that all of these points, we're going to massage anywhere between 30 seconds and a minute. So when you're doing this practice for yourself at home, you can do a quicker version or you can do a longer version depending on where you're at with time and how you want to nurture yourself. And now coming into an anti-clockwise direction, really feeling some of that pressure coming down. It takes a little bit of getting used to, I must admit, when I first started this practice for myself using a brush. And I know what works for me. I used to have regular lymphatic drainage massages. A few years ago, I found a breast lump, and I realized I knew very quickly that it wasn't going to be anything suspicious. And I also, knowing the body the way that I do, let's go to the other side, is I also felt like my lymph nodes were up and holding fluid in the lymph node. And when I went to see my masseuse, who does specific lymphatic massage, she managed to also prove that to me. So literally within 2 sessions, that was dissolved. So she actually helped move my lymphatic fluid through, which was getting stuck in one of the ducts that were in my breast. And take it to the opposite direction. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to move the fluid from the inside of the thymus out to the armpit. So if you can understand, what we're trying to do is get it to the lymph nodes and get it out and away from the main organs of the body. The body then knows how to circulate the fluidity through the lymphatic system, get into the livers, the kidney, and then finally release. So water is very important as well during the day, good quality water. So just brushing, just gentle brushing. The lymphatic fluid pretty much sits underneath our skin, so you don't have to go too hard to feel like you are massaging the fluid into the right spaces. Okay, and then lifting up your breast up. And I must also say that this massage is also same techniques for men. We're made up of the same stuff. This particular practice though today, we're going to actually involve a little bit of a breast massage, but certainly for men, they can do exactly the same thing. So we're going from underneath the breastline and in towards the armpit. If you are a woman that wears bras that have got underwire, I'm going to suggest that you move to a non-underwire bra, because that just keeps locking up and closing off some of the energy and the fluidity that is around our breast space. Okay, so that's a little tip from me to you. Next, we're going to take it from the top of the shoulder and move the fluidity just down into the armpit. This one doesn't take so long because the space is smaller. And then coming on to the other side. So it's like you're giving yourself a pat on the back and just moving that in towards your armpit. Now next one is one of my favorite ones. We're actually taking the massage from behind the base of the neck, down the neck, across the collarbone and into the heart space. And we know already that this is the thymus. So we're bringing it down to here and then we'll go into the opposite side. Okay, I'll just change my back, collarbone, thymus. And I also suggest that doing this a few times in front of the mirror so you can see your body, how subtle it is in its response to what you're doing. Ordinarily for myself is I start getting a lot of blue veins showing across my breast space when I start massaging my lymphs. So yeah, it's just nice to observe. Okay. And from here, using a pressure that feels supportive for you, just start drawing some circles from the inside to the outside of each breast. Just be mindful. And then other side. Beautiful. Now, ideally, each section can be brushed several times if you have the time. So if you did want to take this into a longer drawn-out practice, you can certainly do it for a good 40 minutes to an hour for yourself. And then other times you can choose to do it relatively quickly for yourself. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to brush the fingers. So only up to the wrists. So we're going to do this in 3 sections, and it's important to note the reason why we do this is we're going to try and avoid a lymphatic blockage. So the main point here is coming from the limbs working to the inside of the body. So by doing it in sections, we're going to avoid having a blockage through the arm. We're going to skip this part till later. We're now going to go from the elbow into the armpit. So we are now opening the channels of fluidity, and now we're able to facilitate what we opened up in the fingers and the hands. We're facilitating that through. And then big brush strokes up. Just finish off with big, soft, long brush strokes up to the armpit. Okay. Let's do that on the opposite side. Oopsies, I'm just going to... Okay. Fingers to wrists. Oh, it's so beautiful to share this with you. And elbow to armpit, knowing that you are caressing and facilitating the fluidity of your body. You are taking your own holistic medicine and massage care into your own hands. This is what I love about these types of embodiment practices. And then big strokes. And then just one more time, just going through the breast area. circles or figure eights, whatever feels good for you. But we're actually just, again, encouraging anything that did flow in and through the upper part of the body is also circulating around and not getting congested in our breast space, because there's a lot of tissue, there's a lot of fluidity in a woman's breast, so we have to be really careful and sure that we are going to continue to actually bring this fluidity through the rest of the body. Okay, which is now we're going to start working with the lower body. We're going to activate the lymph centers in the groin. So I'm just going to drop down my skirt just for a moment, just to show you. Okay. Let's do this. So basically in the groin area, what we want to try and do is come right into the crease. We do more pressured strokes on the inside and less pressure on the outside. So we're drawing it in and softer on the outside. So ideally what we're doing here is moving some of the fluidity that easily gets stuck on the inside of the groin. We sit around a lot, especially if we're not very mobile. There's stagnation that takes place here. Excellent. So I'm actually going to do one leg at a time here, okay? All right. Beautiful. And actually, I mucked myself up before doing this point. I'm sorry. Forget the groin. We've got to come into the belly area. That's what I forgot. I'm getting ahead of myself, because I must admit, I was like, how am I going to work around my skirt? So let me come into the lower part of the body first. My apologies. All right. So with the lower part of the body, what we do first is in a clockwise direction, massage around the belly area. I definitely did get ahead of myself. Actually, no, I didn't. We've got to do groin before we do belly. Sorry, darling hearts. Groin, then belly. Here we go. Now, the next thing that we do is move it from the buttock area around to the groin area. From the buttock to the groin. My confusion came about then because we open up the groin so we can move the fluid down, and then we're going to bring it from the leg up. So that's why we needed to do that. There we go. Into the groin. Beautiful. From here, we now take it up the back towards the shoulder blades. Beautiful. And the torso up towards the heart space. So just keep on brushing that through for a little while longer. I would be suggesting that your legs are out, or you're standing tall when you do this, as opposed to folding them over, which is what I just did. Okay. So now continuing with the lower part of the body, we've opened up the groin area. So now it's time to come to the foot again. So we come and do the same thing that we did with the arm, we do with the legs. So we've basically got brushing all the way to the ankle, And then we brush from the knee to the groin. And pulling the fluid, brushing it from around the thigh into the groin. And then finishing off with long, smooth strokes. And onto the other side. I hope that you are feeling the benefits of this practice already. And the upper leg. We are now onto full body strokes. There we go. Beautiful. So what I would recommend when you finish your dry brushing, and that is basically the technique and the process that you would go through, is I recommend then you go in for a shower to wash away the dry skin that you have just exfoliated out of your body. So this again also helps release debris and matter through sweat and just naturally detoxing your body through your skin pores. Especially during this time, as we know that, you know, I am making this video around this time of having COVID being prevalent in our world and in our environment and in our community. So by keeping your body in an optimum way of your lymphatic system running through, to be able to have those viruses, to be able to viral matter, to be able to have bacterial matter release and eliminate from your body, because your body knows what it's doing. It is a very finite instrument when we take care of it as well. So our organs already know when something is foreign matter, it'll start eliminating it out. And so the fluidity starts picking that up and taking it out. So this is basically what we've done. So dry skin, wash it all off. I also suggest, and I had to get used to this, I also suggest that when you have your warm or hot shower, finish off with a burst of cold water. So when you're bursting that off, it actually just starts to invigorate the system as well, and it tones the body. It's like doing exercise for your body. It actually tones your body and tones your lymphatic system as well. Okay, now when you're out of the shower, I suggest getting your oil and then starting to do a breast massage. The oil that I'd love to share with you today is a food grade oil from Happy Breast Balm. I've met the lady Sue, and I've actually am a distributor of this oil as well. You'll find it on my website. Both her parents had died of cancer, and she also had breast cancer. And so she was already working in a herbal shop, and so she knew a fair bit of stuff about herbs and holistic ways of being, and went out of her way doing a lot of research to actually create this product. Now, what I love about it is, as I said, it's food grade, so everything in here you can actually eat. There's also no preservatives, so you wouldn't need to shake it before you start. And it's got a pharmaceutical grade magnesium oil, and magnesium oil is great for our muscles and our relaxant. It gives a relaxation response, but also there's 4 main minerals that help in the health of our cardiovascular system, and that is magnesium, potassium, calcium, and sodium. We need all those 4. That actually helps the heart work optimally. So I'm a big fan of magnesium oil. This one does give you a little bit of a tingle, but it actually has a lot of other beautiful oils in there, like your lemongrass and lavender, and there's about there's a whole plethora. Without getting my glasses on here, we've got grapefruit, we've got peppermint, myrtle, thyme, rosemary, so heaps, and hemp seed oil too. So heaps and heaps of good stuff. So I'm actually going to give you a little plug. If you have bought this video from me, and what I'm going to be offering to you in an email is 10% off the price of either a kit, which has the brush as well as this. This is normally $58, or also 10% off if you just want the oil itself, or if you want this is about $8, so you'll actually get 10% off that. Okay, so enough of the little info promo. I'm just trying to offer you the best stuff that I know has worked for me, and offering that to you too. So give your oil a good shake, rub it in, and then what I'm going to encourage you to do, and you can do this in your own space, I'm going to turn off the video very soon, is just start to massage across your whole breast, chest, even into your throat area, in a way that just feels very, very supportive and nourishing and delicious for you. Okay. So I am going to leave it there and offer you also just a little bit of an opportunity to say thanks to the health of your body and the way that it works, to remind yourself how wonderful you are and how grateful you are in the gift of life and your life that is your body. And during this time when we do it regularly enough, we also have an opportunity to get to know any changes that we do experience in our breast area. And in that, I'm also going to encourage you to get your hands on monthly to be able to do breast checks. So I encourage you to do that as well. So have that in your diary or have that in your phone app to know that you also check for your breast health and any changes in your breasts. So thank you very much for being here with me. I greatly appreciate sharing this wonderful health benefit for all of us, women and men. So please feel free to share this with other women and other men in your lives. Bless and thank you.